My family's been a part of Franklin County community since the early 1900s. My grandfather, my father's father, he started his oyster business here, Eddie Amison. It was E.O. Amison Seafood, him and my grandmother, and they had this property here, which was their oyster house. And then across the road, down a ways, and then right here beside it, they had shotgun houses that was built up, and all the families that worked for them, you know, shuckers and the wives, or the oystermen, their wives shucked their oysters back then, and their kids, they all lived right there. And it was like a little E.O. Amison community, you know, that revolved around the business. Working in the seafood industry over the years has been challenging. You know, growing up, it was abundant. Now it's kind of limited with the resources and regulation. But, you know, we adapt and moving forward with it. I started officially working when I was 12 years old during the summer. When I got out of school, my dad made me start working out in the fish house. To work towards getting a vehicle was the reason. But I would drag boxes, you know, mark boxes. I've went on the routes, helped the drivers that were doing the deliveries, just anything like that a 12-year-old could fit in doing, and that's what I was told to do. Growing up, with my dad, you know, told me I was going to work that summer. You know, you're 12 years old, you don't really, it was exciting. But now as I got older, obviously, I wanted to do other things. We got a beautiful island sitting over there during the summertime. My friends, a lot of them were over there not working, and I started getting kind of bitter about not being able to go and do. But now as an adult, especially with sons, I've appreciated it more because it's instilled a work ethic in me. And not only that, it made me appreciate the fact that money is earned, it's just not there. So it gave me an appreciation for money, it gave me a good work ethic, and it just gave me a better professional attitude now that I'm older and running the business, so to speak. So, when I was a kid, I always wanted to be the one weighing the shrimp. We used to weigh them in a 5-pound box. Back then, we didn't have an individual freezing system for shrimp, but we froze them out in 5-pound blocks. And we didn't have digital scale, so it was the balancing scale. And I always thought you had to get it right dead in the middle. So I was sitting there with a U12 shrimp, and I'd tear it in half to make it go even. And my dad just happened to come by and seen that. I thought he was gonna have a heart attack, because I was probably about 14 or 15. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I was trying to get this perfect weight." And I was tearing a big old U12 shrimp, and that's probably one of the funnier moments that's always kind of stuck with me. And he loves to tell that story too, but he wasn't real happy at the time. But we have a future in the seafood industry here. Now, it's not going to be what I grew up looking at and what a lot of other people have looked at, but I believe both tourism and seafood, commercial seafood, can coexist. It's just going to have to find its boundaries with both. They got to mesh well. The thing about it is we have it's a unique lifestyle. There's an independency to it that you can't get from a regular 9-to-5 job. And I think that's where a lot of times a lot of communication is lost, because people can't relate to that coming from, say, a state department or a county department or something like that. But it's just it's a unique lifestyle. There's a lot of pride in it, obviously, because it's something you're basically doing. You're creating a product, or you're taking a resource and you're making a product for someone to enjoy, consume, or what have you. And it's just, you know, it's fun. Now, sometimes it can be challenging, but for the most part, it's a satisfactory, I guess is the word. It's a satisfying career in so many ways.